ready?
Yes.
Okay. So as the affirmative stated, her first claim was that student learning is deficient, and this is dependent on the quality of teachers. But not only are the quality of teachers a factor in student learning, but also such as family background, prior teachers, and student mobility also have major influences on how much a student learns. And the nation's report card has actually stated that both 9 through 13-year-olds have scored higher in reading and mathematics in 2012 than students their age in the early 1970s, which proves that learning or that success in education has actually been improving rather than worsening. And tenure is actually about protecting the good teachers, not necessarily about keeping bad teachers teaching. So from teachertenureprocon.org states that tenure is not about protecting bad teachers, it's about protecting good teachers. What would happen to teachers without tenure? They could and would be fired for virtually any reason. It's not hard to imagine teachers being dismissed because they failed the daughter of an influential businessman or because the school board's president's nephew needed a job. And the CTA, California Teachers Association, states that the policy for many years has insisted that evaluation is the key to excellence. Where sound evaluation practices exist, it's the teacher whose inadequacies are identified and who is most affected by the need to improve or in the absence of improvement will be dismissed under due process provisions. Therefore, due process is a mechanism for evaluation of instruction, which exposes rather than protects incompetence. So the whole point of it is to keep quality teachers and teachers that are ineffective to notice their incompetence and do something about it. Too many school boards and superintendents attack tenure rather than hold their own managers accountable for hiring and supervising teachers, and if necessary, removing those who don't make the grade. Tenure is granted by the Board of Education on recommendation of the superintendent, but many schools do a poor job of evaluating and supporting teachers. So these issues actually stem back to the administrators, not necessarily the tenure process itself. And if tenure were indeed one of the main stumbling blocks to teacher effectiveness and student success, one would expect charter schools, which currently have the dual advantage of not offering tenure or being required to provide a free or appropriate education to populations with learning and emotional disabilities, would significantly outperform their public counterparts, and that's not true. They actually have been proven to perform lower than the average public schools. The inherency claim that the affirmative side made was that tenure makes it difficult to remove underperforming teachers. Although it is difficult, it's not impossible. And it could easily be avoided through the pre-tenure stage, which, as she stated, was 3 years. They have a 3-year before they do become tenured. And during that time period, mediocre teachers could be eliminated. At the very beginning, if principals and administrators would take the necessary steps of observing and counseling for teachers prior to gaining their tenure. Tenure actually encouraged the careful selection of qualified and effective teachers. Since it's difficult to remove them, tenure encourages school administrators to take more care when making hiring decisions. Additionally, tenure prompts administrators to dismiss underperforming teachers before they achieve tenure and cannot be removed easily. And also, she states that it's expensive and it's costly to fire tenure teachers, but making it easier to fire bad teachers isn't going to magically cause the educational achievement gap to disappear. You need to be able to attract and retain more good teachers too. Improving the quality of teachers who work with kids seems more about insufficient inflow of the talented than insufficient outflow of the untalented. And that's from procon.org. And also, if you fire someone, you have to find a replacement. Ideally, you want a replacement who will do a better job than the person being removed. However, this is incredibly difficult and expensive. Half of teachers who enter the field leave in 5 years. And so making it easier to fire someone will increase the turnover rate. And it's been proven that in both small and large districts, the study found that Costs of recruiting, hiring, and training a replacement teacher are substantial. In Granville County, North Carolina, the cost of each teacher who left the district was just under $10,000. In a small rural district such as Jemez Valley, New Mexico, the cost per teacher labor is $4,366. In Milwaukee, the average cost per teacher labor was $15,325. And in a very large district like Chicago, the average cost was $17,872 per labor. The total cost of turnover in the Chicago public schools is estimated to be over $86 million per year. So it's clear that thousands of dollars walk out the door each time a teacher leaves. And lastly, her solvency claim stated that the process that can be solved through a contract that rids tenure in exchange of raises and performance. Tenure can be solved through a contract that in exchange of raises and performance bonuses. It has been proven that according to a teacher from, according to a merit-based teacher from the Huffington Post, stated, I find no evidence that teacher incentives increased in performance, attendance, or graduation, nor do I find any evidence that incentives change student or teacher behavior. If anything, teacher incentives mean decreased student achievement, especially in larger schools. And there was evidence from a New York City school-based financial incentives program that did not improve student achievement or affect reported teaching practices, which stated it happened in 2007-2008 school year. The New York City Department of Education and the United Federation of Teachers jointly implemented the school-wide performance bonus program in a random sample of the city's high-needs public schools. The program lasted for 3 years, and its broad objective was to improve student performance through school-based financial incentives. Researchers examined student test scores, teachers, school staff, and administrator surveys, and interviews with the administrators, staff members, program sponsors, and union and district officials, and the researchers found that the program did not by itself improve student achievement. That's all.